Alright, hello everybody, welcome back to Jar Games. Here we're looking at the final version of the Jar Train system, the LTN train system that everybody's been talking about. That's right, so here we have fixed one of the only concerns, or the biggest concern, which is trains lining up at the depot with full supplies. That will not happen anymore. There is a small chance that a train could come here with supplies. They usually leave right away, but as we'll see later, we will actually cut the unloading so that the loading stations will slowly fill themselves, and we'll see that there's a very, very low chance of any trains showing up here, if almost zero chance, with full supplies. So yes, I think this is the final version, the polished version, where every station has a radar, because radar is for everybody, am I right? Yes, so let's get into it, and alright. Okay, so the first thing is just taking a quick look at how we managed to tighten the system up a little bit here. So what we're doing is we're actually taking the L signal, which is, if you're familiar with it, it's the calculated limit based on how much room is in the chests in the unloading station, or how much goods are in the chests in the loading station. So we're calculating the L based on how much room we have to put goods in the unloading station. Then we also compare the two with these to see if the calculated limit is bigger or smaller than the given parking limit that the user gave when they put down the blueprint. So that L is our limit, and what we're doing is we're multiplying it by -1, and then we're broadcasting that signal to the radar. So if we were to, for example, divide this by 2, and that will say it's about half full, that will give us a limit. So now we have an output of -2, which means that we could fit up to 2 trains worth of green shinies in this imaginary unloading station. And that's what this is here for, really. It's just a constant combinator to kind of give a chest full signal. So these would normally be chests here instead of a constant combinator, of course. But that being said, once we broadcast that -2 signal to the radar, then we have here a check to see if the signal, which this is a green shinies loading station, if this signal is less than 2, is less than 0, I mean, then it'll open. So it'll disable if this is full, for example. So if all of, multiply that by 2, if all of the green shiny stations, the 235 stations, are full, then there will not be a negative signal broadcast to the radar, and therefore this is disabled by controller behavior. So then the second part of this is that we're also reading the train count, which can kind of telepathically read when there's a train on the way to the station. And we're doing this in both stops. We're reading the train count, and we're actually broadcasting that as a positive value, so that as soon as there is a negative value, for example, at the unloading station, if we had room to unload, that would be here. Then here we have now room to unload 2 trains at the unloading station. So now the loading station is open, and the train count, there would be normally a train assigned to the stop, immediately would give a 1 signal, and that would cancel out one of the negative signals. And then that would be the same as soon as it loads and then it targets an unloading station, it's still going to have that train count signal here that then broadcasts to the radar signal and cancels it out. So that way we can tightly control. Let's see, if we had 1.5, then can we get this to be 1? Yeah, so then now if we had 1 train heading out this way to the loading station, then it would disable all of the other loading stations. So we're keeping a very tight control on the trains can't get here, of course, but yeah, it gives a very tight control on the loading of the trains of this type of good. And then there is one gap where if a train, yes, they can't get over here. They're trying to get here, but they can't get here. So if we just put this at 76,000, the trains will close. Yeah, we don't see that anymore because these stops are closed. So anyways, there is one gap, and that's worth mentioning, that if a train comes here and loads, and then there's no room to park at the unloading station, then it will actually target the depot, which is what we want. And there's a few reasons for that. But during the journey of going from the loading station to the depot, it's not targeting either of these two train stations, and therefore another train can be assigned to the loading for that unloading request, right? So there is a slight chance of trains getting to the loading station and being full. And then we'll see here as an example, when we disconnect the unloading stations down here, we'll see how there may be one train, even after these unloading stations get completely full, there may be one train per good that is parked at the depot. And that's actually a good thing in a way, but there is just such a much tighter control on it now, so you don't have to worry about filling up your depot with all kinds of different goods, and then you don't have a train to service the goods that you need. So that's it. That's kind of the explanation of how we fixed it. If you don't understand all of it, there is also the other two videos where I've completely, the journey of developing this system. It's been amazing. A lot of feedback, a lot of comments that have really helped improve it, and just awesome to see the love, the Jar Train love, right? So, but yeah, for now, what we'll do is we will disconnect the unloading stations from the infinity chests, and that way the chests will fill up, and then we will see, I'll do that over here, but we will see the trains unload, and we'll see all of them just go and chill here and park and not have a full load of supplies when they do that. So stay tuned. I will fast forward to when that is happening. Alright, so as things are filling up over here, another thing to note is that, as before, when the trains park here, we're still reading their contents and sending that to the radar as a green signal as well. So if a train does park here with goods, then it immediately disables all of the loading stations of that same good until it leaves, of course. And then I also, if the cargo's full, I changed the interrupt to not have that time. So there's no timer here. It seems to detect this just fine. It seems to detect the stations, whereas if the cargo is empty, it does have a 30-second timer, and that allows it to kind of recheck the system for open stops every 30 seconds or so. And that just doesn't seem to be needed with when the cargo's full. When the cargo's full, it seems to just be able to pick any one of these stops with ease. But if the cargo's empty, it seems to kind of assign itself to one stop and not check all of the stops. So by putting the 30 seconds, it allows it to recheck the stops. But either way, that also keeps a tighter control on the opening and closing of the loading stations. But that, yeah, that's that. So let's just wait until these fill up. Right, so here we have one that is full. It's almost full, but I don't think there's room for any more, because how much can it take? It can take 38,400. And how much is there? You can just see this right here, divided by, there's only 3,300 room left, and each train is 8,000, so it's just saying, nope, there's not enough room. And so it's almost full. but it is full enough to not call any more trains. And so then we should see here that we don't have any trains here that have the uranium ore. And then we'll see the same thing here, as these ones are almost full as well. Actually, I think some of these are full now. Yeah, this one is technically full. This one is also full. And this one is full now. That was the last train. And then this one is empty. So there's probably, well, not empty, but yeah, here's the last train of the green circuits being loaded. And I didn't disconnect the fluid trains, but we could probably do that as well. But either way, if we go and look at all our trains now, we see that none of them have supplies. And yeah, it's just brilliant. I think it really is. And then as soon as if we were to put those back and start unloading these again, then we will see, yeah, this is the last train that needs to do anything. But yeah, if we put these unloaders back, then we will see, of course, the trains slowly take new jobs. The loading stations will open and they'll automatically assign themselves new jobs. And yeah, it's brilliant. I really like the whole setup. It's taken a lot of time to put together, and a lot of people are using it and they really like it as well, because yeah, it's a tough problem to solve, but I think I've solved it. And I think I've solved it in a way that's highly efficient. It's easy to use, it's user friendly. You just plop down your station and do a quick little parameterized questionnaire, and boom, you're good to go. You have a fully functioning LTN system with different trains. One thing to note is you do not put trains of a different size for the same product. So if you have 4 trains, for example, like 4 wagon trains for your green shinies, then don't put a 1 wagon train for green shinies. Like, you gotta stick to one size of wagon per good, and that's important. Otherwise it could break the system a little bit. That's the only, I think, flaw or hole in the whole system. It would be nice to have any type of train, any size, but it would just require more circuitry and be a little bit more complicated. And I think this is the perfect level of complexity and functionality, and it all just fits into one nice neat little package right here between the train station and the unloading area. So brilliant. You can move this over if you want to put a signal, right? So a lot of times you want to have a signal as close as possible, so that's something. Or you could have this there, easily cut and paste any of this stuff, move it around. But I think this option works for me because sometimes this is going to be curving like immediately, and so I can just put my signal there or whatever. But yeah, I think that's just about it. Just wanted to show you that the whole setup here is now empty. I'm surprised, actually. There's usually like 1 train who gets assigned with some goods in between. But part of that is also, you should really have parking for your stations. That's the last thing I'll say. You should have parking for your stations. So especially with something here that's a 50 stack size item like ore, you should have parking here. That'll just help make sure that you're constantly feeding those belts. And then I also made another station that's in the book that is a little bit more middle like this, and that way you can unload on both sides and have it feed into 4 belts. So if you're getting later game where you have turbo belts and you have the stack inserters and you want to keep those belts full, you're going to need to unload on both sides and then consolidate into 4 belts. So 8-4 balancer kind of thing going on there. But yeah, have parking at your unloading stations will also help things be a little bit cleaner and tighter, and even more reduce the risk of something parking here with full supplies where it has nowhere to go unload. But yeah, that's it. That's all. Look out for the blueprints in the description. Look forward to your comments. Look forward to your suggestions. And there's also a Discord, little community Discord we got. If you have any questions or comments and you need some help, then just feel free to reach out. We are here for you. All right, that's all. Bye for now. Thanks for joining us on this train journey. Choo choo, choo choo, and we'll see you next time.
Like and subscribe.
All right. Hello, Wait, that's the wrong button.